Greetings, good morning, it's Fred in Alaska. I am coming up into Hatcher Pass. I figured I'd give y'all a nice little morning tour of the sun's coming up, hitting the mountains here. It is a balmy 29 degrees this morning. We're going to start our freeze-thaw cycle here, and well, as you can see, the ugly is already starting. You know, the snow starts melting, all the trash that was thrown out becomes painfully visible. But it's an every year thing. I don't know, I haven't been up here in a few months. I don't know what the snow load is. Last time it was fairly deep. It wasn't plowed that morning I came out. I did a time lapse on it. You couldn't really tell. It was like a slalom course, but we'll see. And again, this is just a tour. I'm waiting to hear back from some people on some things going on out by Fort Wainwright at 6 Mile. There's a drainage canal there for drainage for flood or flood control drainage, dike, whatever it is. There's been some occurrences out there by the shooting range, really close to Fairbanks. So yeah, you can't get much closer to civilization unless you're in someone's backyard as far as Alaska goes. And there's a few chalets and bed and breakfasts out here, B&Bs. But we'll be coming up on the Little Susitna River here in just a moment. And when we get there, I'll hop out, give you guys a little look-see over the rail. This road is not the friendliest for suspensions because we get the freeze-thaw, so all these little cracks running across it creates little heaves where the ground freezes and bows up or buckles in, and it just causes a whole lot of ugh. Alright, crossing the bridge here, crossing the Little Susitna. I'm gonna pull in over here and give you guys a look-see over the rail. It's all frozen down pretty bad. Morning. Just absolutely beautiful through here. Again, going up into Hatcher's Pass, as you can see, the canyon walls it gets tied up around the corner back over here. Last time I was here, you could see the blue water and all that, but as you can see, no one actually maintains it all that much. Oh, there's a little bit showing, but this is the frozen over Little Susitna River. You can see some holes in the ice there. And all right, let's continue our tour. It's not all overly cold right now. What kills us this time of year is the wind. So I'm hoping there's not a bunch of idiots up the road that don't know how to drive, because I hate backing down the pass. That never, or backing down the road. All right. All right. Let's get back to it. So there's been a lot of reports coming in from the Lazy Mountain area, and I've been trying to contact the people on Clark Wolverine Road there, Lazy Mountain. I've had 3 separate reports of people being followed, paralleled in a certain wooded area, and I've been waiting for confirmation from those who've experienced it which stretch of wooded area, because there's multiple to choose from, to be honest with you. Man, this is just it never gets old, you know. You get complacent with the natural beauty and you know, you see it every day, but when you like really slow down and take a look, it's just a gorgeous place. Of course, you can see the fence to stop the erosion and the rocks tumbling into the road. Used to be an issue years ago. Still is sometimes. Big rocks will knock out a chunk of fence. Maybe we'll pull in there on the way back. Oh. At mile 9. And coming through these little S-curves here, it can be tight. Some people drive like idiots through here. Actually, quite a few. And it's just not worth it. I mean, in all honesty, because someone hits me, I'm gonna have my lawyer call the ambulance for me, and we'll take it from there. But here we go. We should be getting out of this canyon here shortly, and it'll start opening up back towards Archangel and Hatcher Pass proper. It's a 13-mile road getting back up in here. And just so you know, you can't shoot your guns within a quarter mile of the road. It doesn't say you can't shoot them, it says within a quarter mile of the road. You gotta love Alaska. Go a few hundred yards off the road before you start slinging lead. Gotta love it. Anyway, but there's been a whole lot of reports I've shared with you guys from here that happened out this way. That hiking trail where the dad had one cross the trail behind them, sound like a freight train coming down. He got the hell out of there. There's reports up here. There's a beaver pond people used to swim in years ago, and you know, there's reports of them throwing rocks at people swimming around in the beaver pond. It's this whole area, to be honest with you, from Homer, Soldovia, down on the peninsula, from the Gulf of Southeast Alaska all the way up into the further Arctic regions, there's a history of encounters, sightings, high strangeness, whether it's from the hairy man, little people, or what have you. I'm waiting on some Kushtaka stories from Southeast. Shout out to Daryl in Sitka and them boys down that way. And let's see here. Oh man, just that sun coming over the mountain ridge is just beautiful. I did a time lapse of this drive before, but on time lapse, man, it'll make you dizzy. It's something else. There's Independence Gold Mine up here at the top of the pass here. There's a road that goes through on into Willow on the backside, but that road isn't always open. Sometimes it's not maintained, and so there's a lot of washout in the spring, that type of thing. So don't always get the benefit of just driving on through, but when it's open, I always try to take that back route and just check it out, because there's some decent berry picking back in through there if it's open. Well, when the berries are in season, I should say. Yeah, not like good old Alaskan roads. Been on puppy patrol. My female had puppies about 4 weeks ago, and she had an infection in her udder, so it's been hand feeding 4 little tyrants. I'll get some video of those little rascals. I'll show you guys, little bandits. They're little criminals because they're stealing hearts. But it's starting to open up here into this valley a little wider, and you can't really tell from here, but up there's a road that continues on to Independence Mine. We'll go on up it. For those tuning into this episode for a share, I apologize. I have some to share, but I'm waiting for some people to get back a hold of me. I really prefer to talk to the people at least a few times to get the little nuances down before I share it with you guys. But it's such a beautiful morning, I could not resist coming up here to check out what's it looking like this time of year. Last time I was here, you could actually see the river, and it was all glacial blue and freezing up and real pretty, and now there's multiple feet of snow on top of that, and you can't see squat except some breakthrough spots where you can see the river flowing underneath. Let's see here, right up here I've recorded a couple times for you guys there. Someone noticed a footprint, but I had pre-checked that out. It was someone's hiking boot. And for others who are watching this and they're like, what the hell is going on here? It's just a tour of Hatcher's Pass. And the drive on up instead of a time lapse, which is what I normally do, time lapse to the place, but I figured, hey, why not give a tour? So if you ever come up here and visit Alaska, you'll have a little bit of a understanding of the lay of the land up this way. Up here, up over here where the sun's hitting that mountain in front of us, there's a valley that cuts back, and that's where that trail is, where the father and son had their incident with that one barreling past and them getting the hell out of Dodge. Man, that's a real creepy story. I talked to him the other day. I try to touch base with those who share, just check on them, because, you know, a lot of people, they'll chalk it up to, oh, just stories and this and that, but these are people involved that had something very traumatic happen, and I treat them with due respect, because I know how difficult it can be to reach out and share and get that stuff off your chest, because just the level of ridicule. And the unfortunate thing is no one asked for it. No one asked to be accosted by this huge, hairy, freaking unknown and get terrified. But then there's a certain weird type of shame involved, like they have something to be ashamed about. And I mean, I don't understand it, but I can't pass judgment on it, because I think it's just mainly fear of ridicule. But, you know, I think we'll reach a tipping point here in the near future to where people say screw the dumb crap, and I'm gonna tell everyone what I saw. And it's happening more and more, little by little. I mean, law enforcement shared anonymously, government workers, politicians, all sorts of different people from all walks of life are having these experiences out here. From villagers on up. I mean, not that villagers are lowest of the totem pole, I'm talking level of remoteness. Let's see here. The old, there was a historical hotel that burnt down now years ago. I think they were redoing it and something happened, and oh gee, poor thing, it burnt down. It seemed more like an insurance deal to me, but whatever. I wanted to, there's some, I don't know if it's picking up, there's some older buildings right down there from, oh, damn trees got in the way. I don't know if you guys can see them, they're down over here, the snowbank's getting in the way. Anyway, there's some older structures that used to house miners. Yeah, miners housing down there. Kind of on a, let me hit my hazards here so no one runs me over. You can see the older little structures here. Little Susitna's right down there. Sorry, not trying to bore you guys, just want to give you a little tour. I personally gotta take breaks from the emails every once in a while, because I'm just a one-man show, so to speak, and you know, a lot of people trust me to share their experiences, and I encourage all of them to speak out for themselves, but the good portion of them seem to feel that I do a better job conveying the story, so I just accept that and do it. So now we're going up in elevation, obviously, up towards the Independence Mine. Very popular sledding area, typically, snowboarding and whatnot, just coming up here. Parents will drive up to the top here, and their kids will sled down through these willows. There's paths and trails. I see any strange tracks in the snow, though, I'll definitely stop and check it out. But typically the activity that happens out here in Hatcher's Pass typically happens in the fall. Those are rabbit tracks. And let's see here. There's avalanche areas all over the place. I think last spring I showed you an avalanche area. It came out from one of these peaks on down near to the road. They built this road up a little higher to avoid some of the avalanche chutes, and it works pretty well. I can't remember the last time an avalanche had covered this part of the road. Now further down there's a 4-mile section where it says do not stop, avalanche warning and what have you. And as we're going up here, let me right down there is where I had stopped to show you by the grate. Gosh, it's just beautiful out here. Let's continue our tour. Let me get this window up. Believe it or not, the higher you get, the colder it gets. Who knew, right? What is that? Archangel Valley, yeah. It is very, very, very beautiful up here. I can't even express in words. Once I get up a little higher here, I'll jump out and give a little look around. I would add music and not talk, but that requires editing, and I'd rather chit-chat a little bit versus spend any more time editing than I have to. You can see the sledding trail there. Makes me want to break out a snow machine and go out here and play. Which I don't know if you can pick it up on camera, but there's some adventure trails up there where someone was trying to high mark on a sled, and you can't see, but off to the right hand side here there's a trail that's paralleling the road. That's a snow machine trail or hiking trail that they impromptu they made that. That's typically not somewhere you can really hike in the summertime because it's too thick with brush. You can kind of see it going up there. Easier to groom in the wintertime without all the brush being in the way. That sun is nice and warm this time of year, but at night it gets really, really cold. At my house, which is at a little bit of a low spot in an ancient riverbed, it was about -5, and now it's above 30. Well, it's 18 here. I'm speaking down in the lowlands. I never checked the elevation over this way, but it definitely goes up. Man, I used to know these stats offhand, but I don't remember right now. This pull off here. I wanted to get you guys a look towards Pioneer Peak from a different perspective, because you can never see this area from Pioneer Peak. Pioneer Peak is right over there. Twin Peaks, Eklutna Lake's over over those mountains. As you can see, this valley cuts back up and around there is not Archangel, but Independent Mine. You can see a little bit of that zigzag trail going up the mountain there. Various people's snow machine tracks from playing around, some sledding trails. Just let me give you a 360 here. That's that valley right over here, and the road we came up is down here, of course, and there's a little canyon we came through. But yeah, stunningly beautiful. I want to thank you guys for joining me on just this little tour. I'm sure everyone was like, oh, I want to hear another Hairy Man experience, and there's more coming. I'm just waiting for some phone calls, and I figured I'd change it up just a little bit and give you guys a tour. Trying to get to a different perspective here. Man, just 360 degrees, just mountain peaks, man. Yeah, I love it here in Alaska. You earn it though, because it's freaking cold. It's really difficult at times, and when you live here, you got to mean it, because I don't know if I told you before, but everything wants you dead, especially moose. Some reason moose this year are just out to kill everybody. All right, well, thanks for joining me, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. I'll leave you with a view of something prettier than my face.